Welcome to Talk It Out with Marla P., the show where we bring you inspiring stories for incredible people making a difference in the world. I'm your host, Marla, and today we have an incredibly special guest, someone whose resilient and commitment to helping others have touched countless lives. Renee Jones is a survivor, advocate, and a true inspiration. Renee's journey started with overcoming addiction and surviving sex trafficking, and today she is a mental health professional, founded of several organizations, and a passionate advocate for surviving of trauma. She's been honored with multiple awards, including the prestigious Clifford W. Beers Award for Mental Health America in 2024. Renee, thank you so much for joining me today. It's an honor to have you as a guest.
Thank you so much for inviting me. I am so pleased to be here. Thank you all for listening and having me here.
Awesome. Let's dive right in, Renee. Your journey to recovery began on February 14th, 2000. Can you take us back to that moment and share what that pivotal day was like for you?
I remember, let's say maybe around February 10th, I was on this 3-day binge.
Mm-hmm.
And I decided to go home after walking the streets and looking for one more and trying to find another hit. And I decided to go home. And when I walked in my home, my sons was sitting there on the sofa. They looked at me so strange. It just cut me. I don't know. I normally, that happened before and I didn't pay any attention to it. I'm like, oh, they'll be okay. They'll be fine. But this particular day, it just seemed like it cut me right in my heart. And I remember going to Walmart on probably like the 12th of February. I was going to Walmart and this lady gave me her card and she said, you know what? You need this. And I looked at the card and it was a treatment facility. And I'm like, oh, you don't know me. I don't need that. Looking all crazy, girl, looking all weird and all geeked out and everything. Cause I would sell my food stamps so I can get hotline. And I would go and buy them oodle noodles or whatever they call them, the ramen noodles. I boxes of them in them little hug juices so the kids would have something to eat. And I'm thinking that's their meal. On the 12th, I woke up, I contacted that lady. She told me, we did a little intake and she said, you know what? I want you to call every day until a bed come available. I'm like, so why am I calling now? I got to wait for a bed. And then one day I got up and I called, which was on the 14th of February. And I laid in that bed before I called and I'm like, man, I don't have no money. I done sold everything in my house. I want to go get high. I'm not calling these people. I need to do something different. So I made that call and the lady told me that I had 1 hour. I said, no, ma'am, I need longer than an hour. I got to get my brother. My brother was alcoholic, is an alcoholic. I got to get him to come over, sit with my kids. I need to pack. I need to do all these things. And I remember, and I say this all the time, February 14, 2000, when most people, if not everyone, was running around looking for love, I was running around looking for help.
Wow.
So really what that felt like was, I'm going to do this. I got to do this. It must be time. It's Valentine's Day. I don't have anyone. The dope dealers trying to get me to come and do tricks for them and all kind of little things going on. So I surrendered that day and I went into treatment. And when I went into treatment, I packed up everything, said goodbye to my kids. I got garbage bags for the stuff, TV, everything. That lady said, where you going with all of that stuff? Right. And so I had to give it back up. And my brother took it home. I had 7 days worth of clothes for a 33-day program. And I was put out on the 7th day for fraternizing. They asked me, they said, do you know why you're in the office, Miss Thorne? I said, no, you're in the office for fraternizing. Because they had men on one side and the women on the other side. And I'm like, I don't even know what fraternizing means. She said, well, did you read the handbook? No, don't nobody read that handbook. Who come in here to read a handbook? But however, I continued to move forward. I knew in my heart that I needed to stop doing what I was doing. Mm-hmm. I knew that God placed that lady in my path at Walmart, placed me in that path right there to contact the facility. And I had to get out. I had to stop. I had to get off the streets. So that's what I did. And when they put me out for fraternizing, I went home and I didn't turn back. I'm still here today, February 14, 2025. I would have 25 years.
That is amazing. That is so awesome. Now, the lady who gave you the car, do you know if she was a worker or was she, um
She worked there. I haven't seen her since. I didn't see her while she was there, but she worked there.
Mhm.
And, so she knew the signs of the addiction. She knew the signs of a
Yeah.
female. Yeah, she knew the signs. And, and I'm acting like there is no signs. I'm acting like I'm good. I got this, you know. So if they're weighing probably 89 pounds, yeah, looking all crazy and eyes all bucked out. Like, I got this. Can't hardly talk.
Mhm, mhm.
I did what I had to do to survive. Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. Your story, of resilience is incredibly powerful. As someone who has survived sex trafficking, how has that experience shaped the work you do now, especially in the mental health and advocacy spaces?
You know, everything that I've went through from drug addiction to domestic violence because my ex-husband left me for dead. He AWOL'd the military, which was the army at that time, and to kill me. He said he was gonna kill me. He admit that, and he almost succeeded in that. From there to being sold to the highest bidder, I use all of my life experiences, and I know that God placed me in those positions in order for me to do what I'm doing today. There is no way that I am like the original normal type therapist. And I tell my clients, I am not your original therapist. I do not, I can see through the signs, I see through the people, I understand, I feel the spirit, I know where they're going or where they're being. So if I give someone to come in and deal with domestic violence, I understand that feeling. I know that feeling.
That's right.
Really understand. You know, say I was, he beat me senseless, or I had these black eyes. I understand that. I've had black eyes, fractured skull, cracked jaw, broken ribs. If you name it, I did. He beat a baby out of me.
Wow.
Literally beat it out of me and took me to the hospital 2 days later because I wouldn't stop bleeding. All my life experiences, it come to the point now that it it shaped me to help those that's suffering and been through what I'm.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. And you've accomplished so much, including earning both a bachelor's and master's degree and becoming a certified mental health professional. What motivated you to pursue education and certifications in these fields? And how has it shaped the way you help others?
You know what? I made a promise to God. I'm just gonna keep it real. Okay, so I apologize to anyone who don't believe and may think differently, but I have a higher power. I may not attend church and do all these other little things that everyone else do that they say that they're in the spiritual world. But for me, that day when I came home and my kids were sitting and they've been without me for 3 days and I'm walking the streets looking for drugs. I came home and I looked in that mirror and I called out to God and I made a promise. I said, God, if you help me,
That's right.
if you help me, I promise you that I help those just like me. I've been keeping that promise. From that day to this day, almost 30 years or so long, I made sure that I kept that promise.
That's
I
awesome.
did. And every time I fall off, every time I get isolated, every time I go through my own trauma, every time that I feel like I don't feel like getting up going to work, every time I feel like I don't feel like creating this treatment plan, every time I feel like I don't want to talk to somebody, God reminds me of my promise. So you want to rock up to suffer
Mhm.
because you don't feel like getting up?
That's right.
So that's how I get to where I was sold to the highest bidder. Now I don't know if any one of you all understand that, but when you are locked into a building and locked into the trunk of a car from Ohio to New York and get sold, and you walking around and you learn and you getting groomed, and then they make you and treat you and beat you, and you watch people die in front of you to go groom others and bring them into the stable and the underground human trafficking process is nothing to play with.
I can
So
only
when I go through those things and I think about that today, because yes, I suffer from PTSD. So do not think that PTSD is just for military.
You're right. You're right.
I suffer from a whole lot. But I use all of that. You asked about that resilience. I use all of that pain and suffering and I pour it into those who I can help today.
I love that.
That's what I do. And it's like if I only help one person, I did my job.
That's how I feel.
I can be in Walmart, I can be at the grocery store, I could be at Macy's, and I know when a male, female, teenage, or anyone is hurting.
You see it.
Because when you've been hurt for so long, that pain of someone else jumps out on you, and then you feel that pain and you know what they've been through. I've called so many people out in the past, like, girl, I know what you're going through.
Right.
But here's my part if you ever need to talk. That's all I'm going to say.
Awesome. So you've been involved with so many incredible organizations. Can you tell us about some of the initiatives you've contributed to and what you've learned through these affiliations?
I walk the streets for drugs, okay? I walk the streets to sell my body. I walk the streets to steal. I've done a lot in the streets. I used that same street behavior and I started walking the streets going to organizations. Because who's the one that can help and the one that reaches out to people are the organizations, the school system, the law enforcement, the probation officers, the judges. So I went and I did that, put that same energy into going to meet with them and talking to them and to introducing myself to them, to let them know that, listen, hey, the law enforcement, for instance, you may know how to go out there and save a life, but when you get saved from the task force, human trafficking task force, when all you see is their eyes, that they just have on all that black, and all they have is guns pointing at everyone because they're not allowed to talk, some of them, they don't want to risk their identity, then that's all they know what to do. They don't know how to survive and help the victims. They don't understand on what to do. They get you and they put you in a van, they send you on, and now their job is done. So what I have learned to do, I created a semblance and a program and a curriculum so I can go out and I educate those who works in different fields and know how to deal and help the victims, know what to say to them, because we have a code.
Right.
Prostitutes and human traffickers and drug dealers and us who use it, whatever you want to call us. There's a certain code of language that we can identify with.
Okay.
And it's a certain way and look that we know. So what I've done is created some information, and I do a lot of prevention awareness courses and classes. I offer my personal experience along with education. I put that together, and that's how I help them to help others. So I do a lot of different speaking gigs and workshops, keynotes, trainings, and seminars in order to help organizations, including especially the law enforcement, to be a part of that. I'm also a part of RAIN, which is a rape incest program that I help out because I would be able to share some of my experience. Any organization out there that I can use to share my personal life experience and story that will help them to help others, I always try to reach out to them. So that's how I get involved, and that's what I do. The same energy I had in the streets is the same energy I use to educate and help others.
That's perfect. I love that. I love that. Now, one of your major contributions has been founding the Reconnection to Life Incorporated Women's Center in Birmingham, Alabama. It provides transitional housing for women post-incarceration. What inspired you to create this resource, and what impact have you seen with this?
I've been in and out of jail for so many times, and it was never no help. You know, you continue to you go to jail and you got to come out, and everybody want to change and do different, but there's no resources, there's no help, no one want to do anything. And I wanted to help. I wanted to help those returning to their community from the penal system, give them their own community, give them the tools that they need. So I opened a transitional housing program. I had 3 months, as a matter of fact. Then I opened up the first one. And I connected with the parole and probation and parole board there, and the mental health association there, and we all came together, and that's how I'm able to help the women. And I had a program, so I had women that was coming in, and I to volunteer their time to educate. They had classes they had to go to. They had different steps they had to take. They had we had them get jobs because at that particular time, I was able to partner up with other like Waffle House and IHOP, and they would give them the work and different things like that. So women allow me to help them redirect their life again.
I love that.
You forget, you have that street mentality, you have that prison mentality. You're always looking to protect yourself. You're always looking to fight that battle. Which way is the quickest way to get this done? But then no one never gives you the resources or give you the help. And then I partnered up with another young man in Birmingham, Alabama, who owned an apartment complex. And I told him, okay, listen, as your apartments as your apartments become empty, I would like to put one of my women in there who's ready. Especially was trying to get their children back or child back. So that's how, and that went on for some time. What happened? I had phase 1 and phase 2, and then I could close phase 1 and 2, combined together in an apartment building, and I was leasing them. And the gentleman I was leasing it from, he ended up passing, and so that kind of took a lot of work on trying to keep things balanced because the wife didn't believe in a whole lot of stuff. It was a lot going on, so that ended up closing after years. But what I did do for the ladies that was left, everything that was in there, I made sure that they had their apartment. They had already had furniture from whatever that was there, the TV, the washer and dryer, the appliances, beds, all of that. So I set them up in apartments, made sure that they were set, made sure that they were able to get their children or child back, if that was the case, made sure that they had a support group, which was family members, trust up program, best friends, or whomever. And then at that particular time, after 6 years, then I closed and moved to Cleveland, Ohio.
Wow, you're truly amazing, Renee.
Thank you.
What better person to lead such initiatives, knowing that, with you actually went through those things, God bless you. I mean, you truly have a testimony.
Thank you.
He kept you through it all.
Yes. Oh, yes.
You.
I had someone come up behind me. If you can't see it, but it's a scar across my neck where they tried to cut my neck. They was going to slice my throat.
Oh my goodness.
If I didn't groom this kid and bring him home, my throat was out. That was it. They was going to slice my throat, and they meant it.
Wow. Wow. You've also developed crisis intervention training for law enforcement, which is an important tool in the fight against human trafficking. What inspired you to create this training, and why is it necessary?
What inspired me was because when I was rescued and when they finally came and got us out of out of the basement of the house in New York, and I don't know if any of you all been to New York jail before, but when you go in there, it's just one big jail cell, and you have dope boys, jewelry thieves, sticker boys, rapists, pedophiles. Everybody's in there, and court is 24/7. And I remember talking to the judge and I'm like, this is not working. Something was wrong. And I'm waiting on them to give me some help or to tell me something. But they expedited me back to Cleveland. And then I kept going back and forth because I had to go to court and identify people. It was a lot I had to do to get to that process. Years later, I realized the same thing is going on. What are we doing with the law enforcement? How are they helping us? Those are the first ones that we see, that the victims see, is the law enforcement. Happy to see you guys when you bust through there and save us. Yes, we'd be afraid. We'd be scared. We don't know what can happen. We don't know if you're working for our pimp. We don't know if you're working for the man who just bought us. There's a lot that goes behind that. And it's the underground. We don't know.
That's
So
true.
what I wanted to create a curriculum that they would understand the crisis behind the savior. You there with your weapons to save us. You arrest the bad guys, but then you forget about the good girls. We are good girls.
That's
We're
right.
not, we're not just prostitutes. We're not hookers. We're not just someone that was thrown away. We are good girls. You know, we sometimes we keep going because that's all we know on how to survive.
That's right.
But again, that comes down with not having the right information and not knowing what to do.
Right.
Right information and resources is just not out there. And the officers, the law enforcement, their job and training is to go and get the bad guys.
Yes.
They not there to, they want to de-escalate and they would like to save the life and they're going to grab us and take us and put us in the van and send us over there, but they don't have resources to give us. They don't know what to tell us. So I wanted them to know. You know, I wanted them to be able to have that type of training to identify.
Love that.
There's always going to be a female on staff somewhere.
That's true. That is so true.
So you lost that. That's what did it.
I love it. Okay, so you've shared so much of your personal story in your book. Mama Ain't Teach Me That. What do you hope readers take away from your experiences, and how has writing the book been a part of your healing process?
Oh, y'all, let me tell you. My baby sister, who is my doctor, my pharmacist, my therapist, she's my everything, okay? And she's really a doctor, but she's my everything. She told me years and years ago, sister, you need to write a book. You need to share your story. That might help you because I refused to go to therapy. I didn't know what to do. I was crying at night. I was feeling alone. I had suicidal ideation. All kind of stuff was going on with me. Writing a book was therapy for me. And a lot of things that happened in my life is not in the book because it was my first book and I was just touching the surface. But it was my therapy. It was the process. What people would get out of it is courage and knowing that it's okay to ask for help. It's okay to stand for yourself. It's okay for whatever it is that you went through, whatever it is that may have happened, that you could come up on top. In my book, Mama Ain't Teach Me That, I'm letting you all know my mother didn't teach me to sell drugs. My mother didn't teach me to be a prostitute. My mother didn't teach me to be a jewelry thief. My mother didn't teach me to be a bully. My mother didn't groom me. My mother didn't do none of the things that I've done in my life. But my book is talking about where I've been, how I got there, what I did, and how I got out. That's what it's about. In my book, in the back section, there's probably like maybe 40 resource numbers, referral numbers, or 1-800 numbers of different numbers that you can say, if you're in a domestic violence or you're in any type of situation and you have Mama Ain't Teach Me That book, you can grab that book. Because trust me, baby, that man who's beating on you or trying to groom you or anything, just trying to go on, they're not going to question you about grabbing a book. They're going to be like, take the book. Now, they may question about grabbing keys, cell phone, all these other things that they tell you to use. But they're not going to question you about that book. When you grab that book and you go to a phone, you go somewhere where you can call help, all the numbers you need is on the back of that book, the very last page, all the numbers you need. And then you use them numbers to call for help. Real simple. It sounds simple, but it's really hard. So I don't even know why I said it like that, but you can do it. And if you can't find that, find me. I got you.
There you go. Wow. So you've spoken at major conferences like the International Human Trafficking and Social Justice Conference. When speaking at these events, what message do you hope to convey?
The message that I hope to convey when speaking at these different type of events that I speak at, the message is for leaders, basically. The message is for community leaders, law enforcement leaders, our county leaders, our city leaders, our president, whomever else. But the message is really for leaders to let them know that someone else still is out there that went through what I went through. The message is hope, and the promise will be freedom. That's all I want them to do, is to know that we're still here. The message is that someone is waiting on you to save them.
Right. It's good. It's clear. It's to point. Your work has been a source of hope and inspiration to so many people. For those who may be struggling with addiction, trauma, or finding their path to healing, what advice would you give to someone that are going through what you've been through?
My suggestion to you, if you're going through this, is to know that it's not your fault. There's some type of trauma, some type of pain. That little girl, that little boy is still hiding inside of you, and you continue to cover it up. It's okay not to cover up. It's okay to be you. When you're ready, all you have to do is stop someone or make a call and just say, help me. And when you're ready for help and you stand for you, don't stand for nothing else.
That's right.
Nothing else. Just stand for you. It's hard. Do you think it's not hard trying not to use dope? Do you think it's not hard trying not to escape and get away from that abuser? No, it's hard. It's hard. But I want you to remember, you are the most important person. So learn how to love you. Figure out what works best for you. Take a chance. You take a chance now, just stand there.
That's right.
Then you want to hit away from death. So take a chance on you. Make that plan. And I don't care if it's $1 a day. Save it and then take that chance and tell your safe self, if Miss Renee can do it, I can do it. I got this.
That's right.
And go for it. That's what I would give you.
Very great advice. Suggestions. Renee, your journey and your work are truly remarkable. Looking ahead, what's next for you? And how can others get involved in the fight for survivors? And also your social handles.
Okay, that's okay. Good. That's a really good question. What's next for me? I'm just gonna keep doing what I'm doing. I don't know if right at this moment, and it's okay not to know what's next. Because I can say something and I may plan something, but God may have something different.
There you go.
So I really don't know what's next. All I know is I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. Because every year, every moment, every day, everyone change.
Yes.
I'm going to keep going as long as I can go. That's where I'm at with that right now. And then as far as anyone that would like to reach out to me or anyone that would like to kind of help me to come in and do a training or whatever, feel free to contact me. I'm on social media as Hope, Hope, Speak. That speaks with an S, Speak. SPEAK. Hope Speak. And I do Hope Speak Live because I'm going to be me and be real. And I want you to be you and be real when you call me. You can also reach me at incommunitycounseling@gmail.com. Or you can call our wonderful Miss Molly here and she will let you know how to find me.
I sure will. Renee, is there anything that we haven't talked about that you want to speak on?
No, not at this present time. I think we hit everything that we needed right now.
Okay. Well, thank you so much again for joining me on today, for sharing your story with us today. You are truly an inspiration to us all. And to my listeners, thank you for tuning in. And also, please reach out to Renee if you want to connect with her. She provided her social handles and all that information and show your support.
Thank you. Yes, thank you all for having me. I really, really appreciate it. And remember, just do you. Enjoy life. You are the most important person. Thank you again.
Absolutely. And let me leave my motto with my listeners. When you see the need, plant the seed.
I like that. Thank you.
Thank you, Renee. Have a great day, okay?
You as well. Bye-bye, y'all.
Okay.